The 3-minute exercise is one of the mainstays of therapy, and the purpose of it is to teach you to be your own therapist so you can help yourself with your psychological problems. At A, B, and C, it gives you a place to identify what your problem is, what you're telling yourself to create it, and the context within which it occurs. And then D, E, and F, it gives you a way to develop a new perspective and reinforce it and internalize it. For example, A might be, my partner criticized me. That's the situation. B, your irrational belief, if you have one, might be, I must avoid criticism from my mate. This proves I'm a loser, and that leads to C, feeling hurt, depressed, and eating compulsively. Now, the irrational belief is irrational because of the demand, the absolute, the must. I must avoid criticism. So we go on to D. D is disputing or questioning the irrational belief in order to see if there's any evidence for your must. So D could be, what is the evidence I absolutely must avoid my mate's criticism? Then we go on to E. E is effective new thinking, or the answer to the question. If you think about it, there's no reason you have to avoid criticism. We all get criticized at times. You're not special. You're not going to avoid it. So you could write that at E. No reason I absolutely must avoid my mate's criticism, although I prefer to avoid it. And then in terms of putting yourself down, also at E, you can remind yourself, when my mate criticizes me, all this proves about me at the very worst is I'm an imperfect human who acts imperfectly and gets criticism at times, not a worthless loser. And you would write more statements at E about why the must is false. The more you write at E that's meaningful about why your irrational belief is irrational, the more effective it tends to be, the more persuasive it is. And that will lead to F, your new feeling, still a negative feeling because you're not happy about the criticism, but an appropriate, helpful negative feeling, such as displeasure, disappointment, frustration, discomfort, rather than hurt. And if part of the problem is your compulsive eating under these circumstances, then a good F, new feeling or behavior, would be controlled eating. The final point is, how do you internalize what you wrote at E? Writing it out once or twice usually won't do much. The question is, how do you get from a superficial recognition of why there are no musts to a deep conviction? And the way you get from level 1 belief to level 2, from superficial recognition to deep conviction, is through reinforcement, practice, going over this again and again and again, writing out the 3-minute exercises on a regular basis, 1 or 2, 3 times, 10,000 times a day. The more, the better. So go practice it, and I will give you a money-back guarantee that after about a week, your thinking starts to change, your perspective starts to change, and after a month, your behavior and feelings significantly change.